Hall of Fame was not in my vision. I knew all about it. Fancy red jackets, you get to walk across the stage. Bonus programs all sounded great, but I just needed to learn how to pay my bills my very first year because I was broke. I didn't have any money. So I yo-yoed this schedule every single day. I would probably dial for 2 hours, book 3 appointments on it, like between Tuesday and Wednesday. I would have one on Tuesday, no show. So I'm like, whatever. I go on Wednesday, I would have one no show, and I would close out one family, you know, and I was happy because I already made more money in 2 days than I made an entire month almost at my old job. So I was happy. I was ecstatic. So I was like, oh man, this is great. I'm an entrepreneur. I went to the gym twice a day, and it's all peaches. And then 2019 came about, and I was like, I got to take this business a lot more serious. How do I get ahead? And people noticed that I went from repossessed car, struggling, to this, you know, change in my life because FFL provided this change, right? And people are like, hey, what do you do for work now? Like, how can I be a part of that? So I started sharing the opportunity. And I showed people, you know, my personal deposits, what I did, and then I was like, I gotta work harder. I gotta get this to the next level. So I have this concept of a schedule that I've duplicated for many other top producers over the years, but it's very simple, Monday through Saturday. So here's the thing. We know that, who's here, who's full-time, by the way? Raise your hand. Most of the room, excellent. Monday and Thursday, to me, are literally no exception. Why? This is my dial, and that's my office day. I'm going to dial until I fill my 4 spots up. Now, I'm very intentional with the schedule. You can change it however you want, but I've created 10 time slots, 10 appointments per day. That's 40 appointments that you can book in a schedule in 4 days. With Sunday, if you want to run, I personally take Sundays off. If you want to book overlapping appointments or reschedules, or if you want to work them in the evenings, if you have some, you know, blank spaces on Monday and Thursdays, knock it out. The thing with Hall of Fame is what I had to learn was I had to make small sacrifices in my personal life, give up small things in order to get to that level. So what I did in 2020 is when I hit Hall of Fame, I basically ran like there was no tomorrow. I knew what was on the line. I literally came to November. I was about 35 family policies away from hitting Hall of Fame. I was like, I can't let off the gas now. So I ran like 60 extra appointments in December to hit it, and it put me over. I think I ended up helping 428 families in 2020, and that's when it all happened. But I did it with intentionality that I was going to be busy. So for example, if you have, let's kind of yo-yo the schedule just a little bit. You have 1 appointment here, nothing here, 1 appointment, and then 3 here, nothing here, and then the rest are all home. Like I'm now at, you know, 6 appointments for the day out of 10. Well, what do most people do in the blank space? Can anybody answer that for me? You door knock, right? But what do most average people do? If they'll go home, they'll take a lunch break, do whatever.
Sleep in the parking lot.
Sleep in the parking lot. I've done that before.
Me too.
Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah, we're guilty of that, right? But here's the thing. What I had to learn was, in order to get ahead, I had to utilize this downtime as income-producing activity. IPA, it's not the beer. It's just nobody knows. IPA, income-producing activity, allows you to fill in the rest of your schedule, because by Wednesday, you may not have a few spots here. So between these 2 appointments, you're looking to fill the blank spots. Whether you're calling in a parking lot or door knocking in between appointments to resolve leads that were not responsive over the phone. Before you know it, now you have activity. Because guess what? How many here have had a full day of appointments and every single one was a no-show? Most of us. Stings, doesn't it? It's like the worst feeling ever. It's like somebody literally went to Cobra Kai and decided to kick you in the gut and shout at you, no mercy, right? But that's the mindset you have to develop to get out of it, because if you keep moving, by the end of this day, you'll have success, no matter what. Because our week starts on Thursdays. Our production week starts on Thursdays and ends on Wednesdays. So we know that I use Tuesday and Wednesday as kind of like my last quarter of the football game. If I don't succeed on Friday, Saturday, I got to make it count here. So I need to be very intentional on my Mondays to get ahead, and also be very intentional to fill in the spots where they need to be filled in. If you're door knocking and the client's home, take that chance. Like, hey, I'm here right now. I really don't have a lot of time. It'll take 15 minutes, shoes on or shoes off. Go in, take the chance. If they push you back, come back, but try to get in there as fast as possible. Because you'll be surprised how many people I've called and it's too late, they're already gone. They passed away. Because I wasn't intentional. One of the worst appointments I've ever did was, I'll tell you a quick story here. It was when I lived in Florida. I called on a Monday to book for Tuesday. The lady was intentional. I cannot do it any time this week. Can you come back next Tuesday? I was like, fine, I'll make the exception. I usually don't do it, but I make the exception. That was, trust me, a lesson learned. I went on the following Tuesday. I knocked on the door. It was a morning appointment around 10 o'clock. The son opens the door, and he already informed me that she died on the Tuesday that I was trying to book the appointment in a head-on collision down in Tampa. So that right there, like, I felt like literally, I posted a Facebook Live video, and I shared the story because I felt guilty because I let the person down because I didn't push on that lead because we only have one shot. How many people go in a house and they say, hey, I'll call you back. Can you give me a few days? How many people have had clients like that? How many of those clients called you back?
0.
Exactly. I'd had 2 in 4 years that actually ever called me back. I went back. Everybody else, none. So you have one shot to take a lead and present the opportunity of a solution. I don't even like to use the word product. I don't say this product, no. This solution is gonna be your beneficiary's plan. This is not your plan, Bob. This is Mary's plan. Do you get what I'm saying? If you die, this is Mary's plan, not yours. This is what you're leaving behind for her. Mary, if Bob dies, would $30,000 help you out tomorrow? Yeah, it would. Any reason, Bob, why you can't dish out $130 today if you don't make it home tomorrow? What's one reason except cost that's holding you back from protecting your family today? That's one thing that I learned because of all the failures I endured throughout my process here. But this is where it starts. You gotta protect Thursdays, Mondays like nobody else's business. If you booked your days and you have gaps here, by all means, book more appointments because more numbers are just gonna lead more families being protected. It's just gonna lead to more income in your pocket. But you do this on a consistent basis. This is another thing we talked about a little bit ago, consistency. Without it, you're never going to get ahead because you will have a bad week. You're going to have maybe 2 bad weeks, but if you keep doing it, you'll never have a bad month. You know, so you keep doing it over and over and over, and it's like clockwork. Before you know it, you're programming yourself to the system that we talked about that's designed for success. There is no magic here. It's just your ability to apply yourself with work, hustle over here. And it is a hustle. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy. It's long days. There's times I would come home after 12:30. And midnight, past midnight, coming home. My lady's like, where you been? I was like, I was just hanging out with the client talking, but I helped them with 2 policies. I was happy, they were happy. But you do that with intention and you can't fail. So this is key. So I'm gonna let Darlene chime in because she also has some tips about scheduling. But this is one of the first starters. Let me erase that for you. Do you want me to erase that?
Just the Monday. All right. So one reason why I wanted to talk about schedule in particular is I have other things going on outside of FFL. So yes, I was able to hit Hall of Fame, but I had to have a lot of intention with my time because I do have a catering company, which means that about once or twice a month we have an event. So I have to I'm looking at it in like 3 months. So I am accountable to myself knowing that, okay, in April on the 23rd, whatever it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to run these days. So I'm making up for it the week before, the week after. I know what my schedule is week in, week out. There's never a Sunday night where I just don't buy leads and don't set myself up for success for the next Monday morning. So the biggest key thing is just making sure that you know what your schedule is and that you're sticking to it. You're being accountable to yourself. So I do that on I guess every 2 or 3 months. I'll go through, I'll see what commitments I have coming up and work around those. Same thing with having kids, or if you guys have anything else going outside of FFL, I had to be intentional with those commitments as well. So I have my son who's in Boy Scouts. They're both in Taekwondo. My daughter's in Taekwondo. He's in Taekwondo. She's in dance. Well, those things, I didn't just go whenever, I wanted to. I intentionally found places that had classes on Monday late at night or Thursday late in the evening. That way I could keep my dial day completely open. So it was just dedicated. I didn't have to worry about anything interfering or I have to go this, and I just kept block that time out. So really Monday and Thursday for me, I do run in the field primarily, but I do also do some telesales here and there. But I'm making sure that 8 a.m. I am on the phone. I consider, we were talking about income producing activity, I consider 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. that time. That should be our time that we're either in appointments, we're either dialing or we're door knocking. We're doing something that's going to generate income. The time that you're going to want to train and better yourself is going to be that time in the car, and it's going to be outside of that time. So train before, train after, but don't, spend half a day watching podcasts when you could have been dialing. So really, these are going to be, dial all the way through until I hit my appointments. I typically, in the beginning, it was not this way. I would dial all day, all night until I do it. But the big thing with the Hall of Fame producer schedule is you don't just stop when it's convenient. You don't just stop when it's 5 o'clock. You stop when the job's done. So I would dial all the way through. If I didn't hit my appointment goals in the beginning, because sometimes, I was not quite at 15, I would try to keep my Tuesday morning open so that way I could still load up for the rest of Tuesday and for Wednesday. I had Wednesday to fill up as much as I could. Same thing with Thursday. If I didn't hit it all the way, I would take my Friday morning and I would dial in the car or in between appointments for the next run day. So if I'm on the first run day, I would dial to set appointments for the next run day. But on Saturday especially, I wouldn't dial because that would be not just Sunday, Monday, but Tuesday. And then I felt like I was going too far out with my schedule and my appointments. So I would just make that more of a door knock day if I did have downtime. So really, I think the key things are just trying to make sure that your life is kind of scheduled around your FFL schedule, whether it be on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. I'm able to still be there for my kids and do the activities I want to do with them, but I'm able to, work it around because I've already plotted it out a long time ago. Having that income activity and making sure that you're using your time wisely so you're helping the most amount of families. And then looking at it big picture, reward yourself with some time here and there, but at least know when you're going to do it and not just be a random Tuesday when you just don't feel like running appointments. So
awesome. Yeah, I think top things that I took away from both Darlene and Dean would be just they time block everything. They schedule everything out ahead of time. We talk about, making time versus taking time, taking time for your family, taking time for your business, making time. I'll make time eventually. It's like a procrastinator type of a thing. I'll dial next week, but if I take time for my business, if I take time for my family, I'm time blocking everything out. So just to kind of close this section out, I'd love to hear from two of our guys who are doing telesales right now, just a little bit on scheduling from a telesales perspective. I know, Brandon, you're setting appointments from, next day and the day after. Typically, sometimes you're doing call to close. Mike, you're doing same day appointments. So Brandon, talk to us just a little bit about how you're scheduling everything with telesales, and then we'll have Mike go.
So for me, of course, my number one thing is the call to close. I would love to, get them on the phone and close it right then and there. And a lot of that reason is like things that Dean just spoke about. Like, we're not God. So we don't even know when we're going to die, let alone the client. Right. So if I get you on the phone today, the best way for me to guarantee that the family is going to be protected is for me to get it done today, not to book the appointment for 24 to 48 hours out because anything can happen. However, I do book appointments maybe for 24 to 48 hours out if, I'm on the phone with you and your spouse is not there, because I'm never going to do a one-legger ever again in my life. I've done enough to know that, they don't work most of the time. Or, if you're just not in a position to actually do it, you're at work, you're driving, you're just not in a position to do it at this moment, then I will, book the appointment, for a better time when we can get back on the phone for 15 to 20 minutes. So for me, it's about trying to get it done, closed now on the phone, and then booking the appointment secondary versus, calling to actually book the appointment.
Yeah, and then for me, so I've actually just recently kind of transitioned to telesales, and it's a Monday. What I like about it is I feel like it gives me an advantage. So it's a Monday through Saturday, dialing every day. So literally every morning. So I'll come in, and the cool thing is you don't have to previously, doing the field sales or face-to-face, dialing the Mondays and Thursdays, all day dial days, all day field days. I like that where it splits it up, but for the telesales, I'm dialing in the morning for 2 or 3 hours. So the mindset isn't 15 appointments or 15 to 20 appointments. It's more so of I just need between 5 and 8, right? Because if you do 8 appointments a day, Monday through Saturday, you can see where that adds up really quickly, right? So a lot of the mindset in the same day appointments is when I call. I don't call them with the option. I assume everything, right? I assume they're working, right? I'm busy and I can't do it right now. right? My only objective when calling them, can I just run through like a 15 seconds? So it's like, John, hey, this is Mike. Real quick, I'm a manager here at the Mortgage Protection Center or Benefit Center, depending on the lead you call. Looking here at hold on. John, hey, John, this is Mike calling you back here at the Mortgage Protection Center. I'm a manager. I've got this form that was sent back to me here. It looks like the mortgage protection for the property, the 123 Main Street. I just need to run through it with you. It's about a 15, 20-minute phone call. I can't do it right this second. You're probably working. What time you get off work tonight? And they'll say two things. They'll say either they're working till 5 or whatever time, or they'll say they're retired, right? Got it. They say they're working. Perfect. Okay, got you down here at 5. I'm going to call you at 6. Are you married? Yep. Is your wife going to be home by 5 as well? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put you down here at 6. Like I said, a 15, 20-minute phone call. Just make sure you're in a place where you have a pen and piece of paper, you're sitting down, you're not driving, and I'll talk to you tonight at 6. So it's a short, like, phone script. I don't give them a chance to talk. I literally call them, tell them that I'm calling them back. I clear the schedule. And most of the time they answer because they want the information, and who doesn't have 15 to 20 minutes to run through the information they want, right? So that's my mindset. And then when I book in the mornings, I'm booking probably from like 2 to 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So it gives me time for the people who are retired in the afternoons. And what I find is it eliminates people say I'm at work right now, right? So it's all quick sets. And then also if they say they're retired, they're busy, or they're driving, I don't have to worry about that. And then I clear that out when I book the appointment later on. So, and it's just a Monday through Saturday thing. So it's not these long dial days. It's like 2 hours. I mean, there was one day I made 12 dials and booked 8 appointments. So it's like, it's a really short dial day. And then you can take time for lunch and you work in the evening. So,
love it. Last thing I really want to touch on before we move sections is working the weekends. Okay. A lot of people, they don't take time for their business on the weekends. I can't tell you how much myself, and I guarantee all these producers up here and so many people in this room who are on their way to Hall of Fame, they take time and they work on a Saturday. They call on Thursday. They book up all day Friday, Saturday. I personally don't work Sundays. That's for me and my family. But working on a Saturday, how much you can get ahead. We call it, being a weekend warrior. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out on a Saturday, and the Saturday is the reason that I had a good week. And if I took out the Saturday, I had a bad week. For me, people are home. They're in a good mood. Okay, they're home on the weekends, they're not working. I call someone on Thursday morning to set the appointment for Saturday. They might be in a bad mood when I talk to them on the phone because they're running out the door. Maybe they just got into a fight with their wife. Maybe their kids are making them late for work, whatever that thing is, and they're super short and snippy with me on the phone. I book that appointment, I get out there Saturday, and they're happy to see me. So I love Saturday appointments. It's one of the easiest ways that you can get ahead in this business. If you're not working Saturdays, you're just totally putting yourself behind every single person who is working Saturdays. Saturdays are a great way to door knock. Saturdays are a great day to get ahead for Monday. If you got some gaps in your schedule, we talked about dialing in the gaps, setting yourself up for some extra appointments. I'll dial on Saturday sometimes in between appointments to set a few Tuesday appointments. And now I come into Monday and I've already got 4 appointments. Now setting an extra, 12 versus 16, it's not as big of a goal. It's not as big of a mountain to go over. I think biggest thing I took away from everybody here is they're productive. They fill their schedule. They try to get rid of as much white space as possible. That's it. The more white space you have in your calendar, the less productive that you are, the less opportunities you have to protect families. So a Hall of Fame producer, in summary, they get rid of all the white space as much as they possibly can, and they fill it with income-producing activities. So that's our section on scheduling.